Today we're talking about GoPros and how to use them properly when doing motorsports in a car. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Andrews, aka the All-American Driver, and if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you know that I care a little bit about cameras. Now, one of the cameras that I use in car and out of car is the GoPro. Pretty much ever since the Hero 7 came out, GoPro has been the standard for action cameras. Now, I'm making this video for two reasons. One, because my good friend Richard has been having a ton of problems with his Hero 6, and I am going to send him an old Hero 7 that I have for Christmas. And the second reason is because I see a lot of people making two massive mistakes when using their GoPro in the car. Now, I have been using GoPros in car since 2018. I have made all the mistakes, okay? My stuff is not perfect, but there are two things that I've learned. One, please turn off image stabilization. Now, when the Hero 7 came out, the stabilization on this thing was blowing people's minds, and it is really, really good. If you're hand holding something, if you want to vlog with it, okay, use image stabilization. But if you are mounting this to a car, do not use stabilization. Turn it off. I see massive YouTube channels that use this GoPro and have image stabilization turned on. Let me tell you what happens. When you have the camera hard mounted into a car and you're turning the G-forces, that frame is going to move back and forth. So if you have this mounted in between your seats, say, and you are banking hard to the left, right? This camera is gonna compensate by drifting all the footage, and you're basically gonna be staring at the back of the passenger side seat. I see this all the time from channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I don't understand why they haven't figured that out yet. Now, it's very easy. You just go into the menu, turn off image stabilization. You could even save a setting in here. So like setting 1 is without stabilization, setting 2 is with it. So you can very quickly switch between, hey, I want stabilization so I can vlog with it, or let me turn it off, I'm mounting it in the car, and we're gonna be good to go. The other problem I see with people using their GoPros is that they don't use the exposure lock. So the GoPro doesn't have the best dynamic range, right? It doesn't have a lot of detail in the shadows, and it doesn't have a lot of detail in the very highlights. What happens is if you put this in a car, say behind the driver's seat, okay, or even on a helmet, right? Even on a helmet, it will probably expose for the inside of your car, meaning it's gonna lift the shadows up, and what that's gonna do is completely blow out the highlights that are outside your window. So you won't be able to see anything except for your hands on the steering wheel and your dashboard, but then everything else will be a white screen, okay? I have made that mistake so many times. Let me tell you how to fix that. Before I mount the GoPro in the car, all you have to do is go outside, point the GoPro at the sky, basically, or the horizon. Put your finger on it on the screen, and a little box will come up that has a check mark to lock the exposure. By locking the exposure, that means when you put the GoPro in the car, it's not gonna try to expose for the inside. It's gonna keep those settings. It's gonna keep the outside, the horizon, the sky exposed properly, so you're going to be able to see where you're going. I have made that mistake so many times, and footage is basically ruined for that. All right, if you guys have been following along the channel, you know my friend Richard, I think his YouTube name now is Wheelman81. He does a lot of track driving stuff, a lot of motocross stuff, and I finally talked him into getting a GoPro because I've been wanting him to basically upgrade his setup and his production quality a little bit from his videos because he's my friend and I actually enjoy watching his stuff, right? And he went and he found a good deal on the Hero 6, which is arguably one of the worst GoPros you could get. And I felt bad, but I didn't say anything. I was like, okay, cool, man. You know, I'm sure it's gonna be great. Well, I think he's tried to take it out 2 or 3 different times to track days, to his motocross stuff, and it hasn't worked. One time he turned it on, he had all the batteries charged, and it didn't even record anything. I have an old Hero 7. Now this is when the GoPro started to get good, right? The Hero 7. And I don't use it anymore. I got a couple of Hero 9s now that I use, and they're fine. The Hero 7 is still fine, actually. I used it a couple weeks ago. But I don't really have a use for it, so I'm gonna send this to Richard kind of as a Christmas gift, as just a friend and a supporter of his channel. I've got basically a couple different cages for the GoPro I'm gonna give him, obviously some little hardware. I got a chest mount for him, just in case he wants to try some motocross stuff when he's riding his handlebars. I will say, I do recommend you use stabilization when you're on the motorcycle, okay? When it's mounted to you and not a hard surface, use the stabilization, all right? There are tons of videos out there. Peter McKinnon actually did a really cool video where he was talking about this exact GoPro, and he had the GoPro use the stabilization on a motocross, and it looks perfect, right? It looks great. So use the stabilization for the motocross. Do not use it for the in-car footage. And I've got him, I gave him an SD card in here. I gave him a charging cable. There's still a couple other accessories I'm sure he's gonna want. I've got it all packaged up here in a little GoPro box, and I'm gonna send this out. Hopefully it gets to him in time for Christmas, but definitely hopefully it gets to him in time for his next track day, because that's really what this kind of stuff is for. All right, so I hope you guys maybe learned something, picked up a little trick or so using the GoPro. If you learned something, give it a like. If you use a GoPro for your motocross or whatever, leave a comment below so I kind of know what you guys are using. That is fun for me. I like cameras. I actually just got a new camera. We're on a new camera right now. This is the Canon R6 Mark II. I might make a video why I've got this. I sold the R6 just about a week ago, and I got the R6 Mark II. It's everything. It's everything I wanted. It's perfect. I might make a video on it. That's it for me, guys. Hey, I hope you all have a great holiday weekend. Andre and I, we are heading down to Key West, so that should be awesome. We're taking the Raptor, probably get some epic footage over there, driving over some of those bridges, just in the ocean. You know, I think that'll be really cool. And then just get a nice couple of relaxing days on the beach. We both are on leave for the holidays, so that's going to be nice. Expect some more videos. I have parts right over here in the garage for both cars, and I'm super pumped for that. Super pumped for the S2000. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the last track day. A lot of people were pumped about it, right? Bringing home a win, gave me some tips, and thank you guys for that. All right, if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you guys so much for watching. Jason Andrews, the all-American driver. Get out there, drive your car, record your content, right? Use a GoPro correctly, and I will see you guys in the next episode.